Well, there was bound to be some technical difficulties with one of these eventually. Thank you to everyone who has bared with us, and we are now live. Hi. For anyone who is rejoining us, thank you for coming back. For anyone who hasn't joined us before, welcome to National eTheatr. My name's Barry McStay. And what's this all about? Well, I'm an actor and a writer from Ireland, but living in London. And like many people in the creative industries and freelancers in general, I am trapped in my home with not much prospect of work for the next wee while, thanks to coronavirus. So I have started this project, National eTheatr, where we're going to be streaming a live piece of new writing, generally from different actors' homes across the UK in the coming weeks, to provide a creative outlet for all the creative people who are stuck at home, and a chance for audiences who don't have their friendly local theatre to visit to have somewhere to come and watch a bit of new work. Hello to Kim Scopes, who I see is in the chat and talking to us. Hello, Daniel Grocott, and everyone else who's slowly tuning in. The show hasn't started yet, don't worry. This is the padding at the start to allow you all to catch up. A couple of things. As I said this last time, I think I'm going to say it every time. Be nice to each other. There's a little live chat beside this, and if you're tuning in and just want to watch a bit of theatre, you don't want people chatting too much through the performance, or indeed being nasty to each other. So we have a couple of nice moderators in there to make sure everyone's nice to each other. These are scary times, and we just want everyone to feel safe and happy here. What else? If you're here as an artist, I hope you find this inspirational, and drop us a line if you want to get involved. The email address is nationaletheatre@gmail.com. And if you're here as an audience member, hopefully you will find it fulfills that little hunger for live theatre that is currently being left thanks to, I'm going to do it every time, coronavirus. And if you're here at all, we really appreciate that. And I'll do this only 3 times during the stream, I promise. But if you want to donate to support the artists involved in the National eTheatr, you can do that. There are links below the stream to a Ko-fi account, and a PayPal account. You don't have to donate. The stream is live. It's free. If you want to watch it, that's absolutely fine. But if you can, only if you can, you feel you're able to, and you want to donate to support, do click one of those and drop whatever you feel you can spare. All the money will be shared between the artists involved in each stream, and then any excess will be kept in a pot and spread out evenly among all the artists involved in National eTheatr over its lifetime. At the end of the show, and indeed during the show when it starts, which will be very shortly, if you want to applaud, feel free to use the applause emojis in the chat, or if you don't have access to those, people really enjoyed this the other day, use the letter O, because it looks like you're going ooh at how good the performance is, and it signifies my favorite joke, a round of applause. Why don't you pop one of them in right now as I introduce tonight's performance? And alongside me now on screen, you should have James Farley, the performer that is going to be performing for you tonight. James is going to be performing a new monologue written by myself called Captain Corelli, and he's been rehearsing that over WhatsApp, James?
Yes, over WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. Apparently you can do video calls on WhatsApp. Who knew? With director Kyle Ross, who isn't with us but is watching, I believe. So I will flick over to James to do that very shortly. A couple of things to say. Trigger warning. This performance contains infrequent mild language and mild sexual references. Other than that, settle down, enjoy the show, and I'm going to be on. We'll be back. Oh, and the other thing, yes, that's right. At 8 o'clock, some of you might want to clap for the NHS, which is a thing that's happening in the UK. If you want to go to a window or a door and clap for all the frontline people working in the health service to try and keep us safe from this virus, feel free to do that. You can always, watch this on catch-up. The video will be on YouTube. The minute that you miss applauding the people who work in our hospitals and in the healthcare service will be still immortalized online for you to come back and watch. So feel free to do that if you would like to. That's it. Settle down and enjoy James in Captain Corelli, and I'll see you in a bit.
Captain Corelli's Mandolin. That was it. I haven't seen it. Read it? Seen it? Is it a book or a film? Or both? I can't. Anyway, that was what... Or a play. Anyway, that's what he said. Do you know Captain Corelli's Mandolin? And the logical thing I mean, the correct thing, and of course the obvious thing I see now would have been to say, no, I don't know it. Is it a book or a film or a play? As I've done now. But I just have this thing where I look at me, and you would think he's probably not much of a book guy or a film guy or a play guy. He's not a buff of any kind. He's not cultured or I mean, you know what I'm like. But I'm not, and I wanted to. First impressions. Don't judge a book by its cover, or a film or a play. So instead, when he asked me, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, I could have, right? But instead, I just, in poker, it's called going all in, isn't it? I pivoted. So I said, actually, funny story. My grandmother's maiden name was Corelli. And he was like, oh, no way. Okay, this is why I called, actually. I doubled down somewhat, to be honest. Call it overreach, but I said, way, and get this, I also play the mandolin. I don't, obviously, but, well, obviously, we had sex, and I'm seeing him again next week. And so, yeah. Do you have a mandolin and can I borrow it? Please. Well, you have a ukulele, don't you? Well, aren't they the same thing? Oh. Right, I just assumed they were all little guitars, basically. And I can play the guitar, so... Well, no, I can't play the guitar, but basically everyone can play the guitar, can't they, really? Every emo idiot with a fringe and ripped jeans can play the guitar, so surely I can. Though in fairness, I don't have any ripped jeans, so maybe that disqualifies me. It's not a fashion decision, by the way. It's not that I don't think ripped jeans aren't cool. They're the coolest thing. Well, not the coolest thing, but if you wear ripped jeans, you're signifying cool, aren't you? You're advertising your coolness, which is probably not cool, but that's beside the point. The point is this. I don't like my knees. That's why I don't have ripped jeans. I mean, I know you can get jeans where the rips in other places, like the thighs or whatever, but I just think that's a bit, well, slutty, isn't it? Not that I'm not slutty. I can be very slutty. You know that. And yeah, I slept with this guy, Captain Corelli. Well, Andrew is his name. Andy, actually. He said to call him Andy. I slept with him on our first date or whatever, but I just... When it comes to jeans, I think the ones where you have a rip right by your bits, it's a bit much, isn't it? Everyone's worried for you that you just pop out, and that's how I feel anyway. Anytime I see someone wearing them, I'm embarrassed for them in advance. Anyway, sorry, my knees, sorry. Yes, you know I don't like them, and I think... Yes, you do. You do. I told you, didn't I? Well, I just think they're... I don't know, I don't like them. They're bumpy and crooked, and I've got that weird birthmark. It's not big or noticeable or anything, but I know it's there, so I don't mind people seeing them. I don't mind being naked or whatever. You know that. But I think a rip right on top of them just draws attention to them. When they're naked, they're more part of a whole. They get lost in the whole whatever rest of me. There's other like other things, other bits to admire. Well, look at. Anyway, which I've been working on. The other bits, Don't know if you've noticed. Well, right, would you? You can't really see from this angle, but well, next time we see each other, if we do, then hopefully you'll notice, because I've been going to the gym, actually, which I hate, but it's made me feel better, which I love. I love that bit, that aspect, just not the whole having to go to a gym to feel that way. I hate that bit. Andy noticed, actually. He said it. He said, do you work out? No, me neither. I didn't think anybody actually said it, but that's probably because up until now, basically, no one has ever had any reason to say it to me specifically. But Andy probably has people say it to him all the time because he's basically, well, he looks like. Do you remember? I used to say you looked like a sailor from World War II. Remember? With the tan and the shoulders and the body that's not all abs, but is definitely fit and toned, but healthy fit and toned, not obsessive fit and toned, and a great butt. Not only because of the bell bottoms, but I mean, bell bottoms and high waisted trousers. I mean, that's such a winner. But yeah, remember I said you look like, and you never got it. You didn't believe it was a compliment, and well, it was. And I don't think there's a specific picture or a specific sailor I have in mind. It's just an ideal or whatever. Yeah, I know you think it's ridiculous, but anyway, the whole actual point of the thing, the point is that Andy, he looks like that. He looks like that sailor, whoever he is. He looks like you looks how you did to me, and he probably has people say, "Do you work out?" to him quite a lot because he does. Or maybe it's natural. I don't know actually. Oh, I never asked him, and that was rude, wasn't it? No, that was definitely rude of me because he asked me, and I told him about joining the gym and doing boot camps. Boot camps. Anyway, doing them, and I just shited on about that for far too long, and I never asked him what I think he does, or maybe he swims. He's got those, that neck bit. Captain Corelli, the real one or the fake one, the one from the book or the film or the play, him. Do you reckon he's a sailor? Because he's a captain, so unless he's like an airline captain, like a pilot, or an army captain, or football, like a team captain, though I imagine that, I mean, that seems unlikely. It doesn't sound like a sport thing. Maybe Andy plays sport. Maybe that's it. Because it's that kind of natural toneness, that body. So maybe he actually likes when people ask, do you work out? Because he just gets to say, oh no, it's kind of naturally toned like that. Like you did. And that always bugged me. Because it seemed smug. Well, it seemed smug, but he doesn't seem smug. And I didn't see sports gear or, shorts and jerseys and, I don't know, bats or sticks or clubs or whatever he would use. Yeah, no, he didn't have any of that stuff in his bedroom. So, yeah, we went back to his. Yeah. Because, well, firstly, because I was worried he'd ask me to play play the mandolin if we went back there, and then the whole truth had to come out. And also, secondly, because mine still, well, you remember we had the damp and I never got around to fixing it. Well, yeah, I'm getting round to fixing it actually, and it turns out that they have to rip out half the wall and, I don't know, dehumidify it or paint it or something. I'll let the landlord figure it out. But yeah, it had been a job that I needed doing for quite some time, and I got round to finally, after you moved out, I got round to finally doing what needed to be done. But yeah, with my room the way it is, I'm sleeping on the sofa, and I didn't think, yeah, exactly. Sophie wouldn't appreciate walking in on anything like that, not after the time in the shower. Yeah. And you don't have to live with her, so you don't have to put up with the way, I swear she still jumps whenever I walk into the room and I'm less than fully clothed, even in shorts or pajamas or with a towel around me. I think she thinks I try to make a habit of being walked in on in that sort of situation, a compromising position. Not that I'm ashamed of it or whatever, because we all have it. We all have sex, and it's not a big deal. Well, yeah, no, yeah, except what she doesn't. Sophie doesn't. No. And honestly, that's fine. That's her thing if she wants to wait, because everyone's entitled to make that decision in their own time. But I also think maybe she's got these expectations which are just too unrealistic, and the longer it goes on, you know, it could just end up being a disappointment or too much pressure, or well, I don't know, you know, becomes a thing, and it shouldn't be. Because I try to be, or I am relaxed about it. You know that. Some say slutty, some say relaxed. But slutty's fine though. It's allowed, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm good at it. I don't mind saying that. Andy said so. He actually said, "Wow, you're good at that." You know, at the end and at certain points during certain, well, you know, certain moments, certain actions, certain acts, which was nice to hear as well. You know, do a workout, you're good at that. It's good for the ego, the soul, the heart. And so I told him, okay, and this was just me being nice. So don't react to this. So I don't know, just don't react, all right? Just don't react to this. He was being so nice. And so I said that he was, or at the time anyway, no, actually I did say I said he was the best. He was the best that I ever had. Sex that I had. The best sex. He was the best. I told him that he was the best sex that I'd ever had. So, because sometimes you just say things, don't you? Which isn't to say he wasn't. It's not that he is the best or isn't the best. It's just to say that in that moment I felt I needed to say something, and that was the thing that I said. But I don't know that he isn't or wasn't, because how do you compare that sort of thing, you know? Sometimes you're in the mood for something a bit and whatever, and sometimes you want something a bit more you know? So even comparing those moments, that's like apples and pears. Well, except they're both fruit, so maybe it's more apples and hedgehogs, apples and tractors. Oh, I don't know what. Apples and sex. It's like comparing apples and sex. It's just not the same. So comparing them isn't fair, or it isn't accurate anyway. You can't rank it. I don't know why I mean, I just said it, like the Captain Corelli thing, the mandolin thing. I mean, I say I don't know why. I do know why. It's because he looks like those sailors, and he was being nice, and it was going well, and I wanted to, you know, seal the deal. Oh, God. But you know what I mean. Which is dumb, because he was clearly enjoying it. Had clearly enjoyed it. That much was clear. It was obvious from, well, you know what, from the noises, yeah, the noises, and what he was saying. Yeah, he wasn't being shy, or, you know, he lives on his own. So there wasn't any need for, it wasn't like we were worried about Sophie walking in or whatever. So we were wild. It was fucking wild, right? I can't put it any other way. It was really wild. We were really, really loud. It was really good. Yeah. But yeah, well, I was just, he enjoyed it, obviously. Both times. Both times, yeah. And again in the morning. But at the end, when he said that about me being good, I thought maybe I think I was worried he was being so nice and I wasn't being nice enough. And just in case, I told him just in case that he was the best sex that I ever had. In case he changed his mind about me. But he was really fucking good. I mean, I lie though, you know that. Sometimes I lie and I don't even realize it. It's just a habit. It's just because I'm afraid if I just don't say something, then it would end up being awkward, or So when people say things, or whenever I say things and there's space for something to come next, then I'll just fill it. You know, like when, right, you know how I don't like mushrooms, right? You know, if I'm eating in a restaurant or whatever and there's mushrooms in something, you know how I'll pick them out and put them on the side, and that's usually fine because most people, most normal people, most sane people realize that mushrooms are an abomination. Well, yeah, exactly. Like I said, most sane people realize that. And I honestly don't get why people put them in dishes. Like, why put them in a spag bowl? You know? No one orders a spag bowl and thinks, oh God, I hope there are mushrooms in this thing, because that's mainly why I ordered it and not the spaghetti al funghi. Right, because most restaurants, a lot anyway, a lot of Italian restaurants and pizza places and so on, they have a pasta dish, which is the al funghi dish. They have the one dish that specifically has the mushrooms in it. So there's literally no need for the spag bowl to have mushrooms in it, is there? Right? And they're definitely going to piss off a lot more people by having the mushrooms in it than they are by not having the mushrooms in it, is my point. But anyway, you know how I pick mushrooms out normally? Well, a couple of months back, there was this waiter in this place in Bristol. I was down there for work, for this work trip thing, which was bollocks, but that's another story. And this waiter, he actually called me out on it. He picked up the plate, he was clearing up, and he asked, oh, don't you like mushrooms? And instead of saying, no, I don't, which is the correct and obviously most normal thing to do, I said, oh no, I love them. Being sarcastic initially, but then for whatever reason, for the reason that I'm me and I do this, I said, oh no, I love them, but I'm highly allergic to them. So he flipped out completely, I would say irrationally. But then again, lying about being seriously allergic to mushrooms to a waiter who had just served me mushrooms is hardly rational, is it? So he flipped out, calling his manager, saying stuff like, you should have told me, you're legally obliged to tell me. And the manager is saying, like, the mushrooms are clearly mentioned in the description on the menu, and everyone is looking at me like I've, like I shat myself or something. But it was fine in the end. It all calmed down because I said, it's fine, I picked them all out. But you know what? I brought that on myself when I could have, and they didn't even notice that I'd had the arancini for the starter, which had mushrooms in them, but I didn't pick them out because they're only little pieces and they're hidden inside the arancini, and I'm not a maniac. But anyway, I could have avoided all that, but I didn't because I lie sometimes. Like when you oh, it's 8 o'clock. Woo! Shit, is that the time? Anyway, sorry. When you moved out and didn't I tell you I didn't tell my dad initially? Wait, the banging pots and pans. No, yeah, my dad knows now, but I didn't tell him initially because, well, you know what he's like. He's just also very, you know, he never liked you very much. Not because you're you, because, well, you're a man and I'm gay, and he never liked that very much. He's still quite iffy about it all, even though he doesn't say it, and he didn't say anything when I did eventually tell him. But initially, I just didn't say anything, and he didn't question it or whatever. Whenever he dropped round, or whenever I dropped round and you weren't there, he didn't question it or say anything. And yeah, I think he probably knew. I think he preferred it anyway, just you not being there, which I hated, right? I did hate that I thought that he liked you not being there, and I hated the fact that I thought that, and the fact he would never say it, and the fact that I couldn't just ask him outright because it would cause whatever, it would lead to all sorts of awfulness, and I just didn't, you know. Well, that was the main reason I didn't say it anyway. That I didn't tell him. Just because it would have validated him or whatever. He'd have been smug about it, and I hate smugness. You know that. Plus, it would have made it feel real, and I didn't want to admit, that things hadn't whatever between us. It was a bit too hard to say out loud then, at that point. But anyway, the point is that I need to get this mandolin and learn to play it. At least one song, at least. Whatever the mandolin version of Chopsticks is, right? Or the theme to Captain Corelli. If it's a film. Books don't have themes, well, not musical themes. Or is it a musical? Is there a song from it? Because he will know, right? I mean, he asked, did I know it? So he clearly knows it, whatever it is, book, film, or musical. But we got sidetracked into talking about my grandmother's Italian heritage. Yeah, I know she's from Dorset. I know, but I took a guess at where the name Corelli might be from, and he seemed to buy it. So now she's from Rome. Mainly because I've been there. That was a good trip. Even if you got weirded out by all the churches. But he will know if there's a theme from it, and he will expect me to have a mandolin and to be able to play it. And at this point, I don't know. I'm just going to have to order one, and you're going to have to teach me how to... Well, you can play literally every other instrument I can think of. So I assume you could teach me. How long do you think it would take me? Well, how long do you think it would take you? Look, if I order you a mandolin, if I order us a mandolin, but get it delivered to you, and then you learn it and bring it round to me, and then you can teach me and, well, bring it round, send it round, post it. I mean, okay, teach me online then. Teach me, like this. Look, sorry, obviously, sorry. Oh no, you're really, really busy. I know, sorry. I didn't mean that I expect you to drop everything and be able to teach me the bloody mandolin. That's not the point. I didn't expect it to be such a time commitment for you, or for me, for either of us, to be honest. To be honest, I didn't expect to have to play the mandolin. 24 hours ago, it wasn't really something I could foresee. It wasn't exactly something I was planning. I don't have it on my dating profile or anything. It's not like I say I'm musically talented. I just have the usual stuff, the stuff you'd expect. Good sense of humor, decent guy, looking for interesting people for dates, and who knows. What do you mean that's bland? I mean, I put up that picture, the one of me coming out the shower, where you can't see anything, but it's nearly like you can, so people will zoom in trying to see it, It's like a teaser trailer, but not the whole blockbuster. No, I don't like that I called it that either, but that's what I'm calling it now, I guess. I mean, I said I like clubbing and exotic holidays. That's not bland, is it? All right, fine. Call it bland if you like. Jesus. But I got dates out of it, so... Not just Andy. There have been others. Yeah, I've been getting back out there and doing it, I've been... Oh, where have I been? I've been bowling with a nice doctor, but he was a bit... Ironically, he was a bit bland. I've also been to one of those bars where they serve cocktails, but there's also a magician there doing like close-up magic stuff with coins in your clothes and cards with your phone, where you turn on your phone and the card is there on the screen. Yeah, that was with the guy who played rugby, and I can't really remember much because I get super wrecked on cocktails. Yeah, you know that. Jesus. And I think we had some really bad sex, and then he ghosted me. But then that's my fault. Or the magician's fault. I mean, it was rugby guy's idea. Seriously, who goes to a bar where there was 100% chance going to be a magician? So, I mean, I've been doing stuff. I've been out there on dates and meeting people. Oh, axe throwing. That was another. Ugh. And I've been having some sex when I wanted it as well. And generally used to being single, and work has been busy, but not too busy, which is good. Yours is obviously, well, yeah, everywhere all the time with teaching and recording and gigging. And I assume your boyfriend has been taking up some of your time as well? Oh, is that his name? Sorry, Connor. Cool. Connor. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. But yeah, I imagine between work and him, you don't have a huge amount of. So, obviously, teaching me the mandolin for free would have been a bit. Well, I wouldn't pay you, obviously. Well, because you're my friend, and I assume you do it as a favor, or not just to get me laid. You'd be passing on an essential skill. Well, not essential, you know, like NHS essential, but obviously between like it's a skill and potentially a lifelong passion I could pass on to my kids, and so on and so on and so on. Fine, well, fine. I guess I pay you mates rates. Mates rates. I pay you mates rates. But between Connor and work, you're right. I assume you're just a bit chocker. Did you meet him on an app too? Because Andy, I met him on an app. Not that one, not the one you're thinking of. It's quite classy, actually. Yeah, you don't get to chat until you've both done a quiz, where they match you up based on these 10 questions, and your profiles, there's like an algorithm or something, I don't really understand. But anyway, they sort of pre-screen how you match up and then put you together, which is actually, I was skeptical because, you know, we obviously met the way we met, and that was all fine until it wasn't. And I thought, you know, how do you expect a computer to replicate the feeling of seeing someone for the first time that way, Because you looked so, in the spotlight, singing in your element, doing your thing, and me in the dark with a drink and a thumping heart and hoping you stand in that spot next to me at the bar so I could tell you how good you were and then say, sorry, I should introduce myself. I'm Ray, and go from there, and the rest is history. You know that? Like, how would you expect an algorithm to be able to conjure up that same thing, that same indescribable? Well, exactly, it's indescribable. But with Andrew, with Andy, yeah, it seemed to work. We got 10 out of 10. And it was all really interesting questions. Like, what's your favorite birthday present you ever got? And if you're a movie star, who would you want to star alongside? All right, fine. Well, I thought they were interesting. Quirky, anyway. I thought they were. Of course, I said James Dean. Obviously, I said James Dean. Well, he said Marlon Brando, which is apparently a match in the algorithm's eyes because they're the same. Whatever, they're the same casting or era or whatever, but they weren't the usual favorite color, pet, holiday destination, blah, 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 all the stuff you'd expect. Well, all the stuff that apps usually ask. Well, the stuff, no? Okay, then, how did you meet Connor then? Was he not? Well, because I assumed being busy with work or whatever, you'd be just too busy. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good he's into the music scene. It's good. And he thinks you're good. He thinks you can play. He thinks you can play, and he likes what you play. He likes you. He likes it. Good. It's good. Good. That's good. Well, listen, I'm gonna get on with with ordering this thing, figuring this whole thing out. I mean, I've promised Andy. I've promised him a mandolin recital next week. So, do you think it will be? I mean, I could Amazon Prime it, and that'll be quick. And then surely there'll be YouTube videos and tutorials and stuff. If I can learn one thing, at least that'll be right. That'll be enough. And if you have time, if you have tips or tricks or the whatever, only if you have time, of course, then do send them my way. Just a voice note or a video, if you have time. Oh, I don't know. By the way, I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that gig. The one in where was it? The one in Brick Lane. The one in June. The one you invited me to. Or maybe it was a big mail out, a big group thing. But I got the invite on Facebook, and I had click going. But I think now I have to go back to Bristol for another bollocks work thing due. So, oh yeah, I thought it was probably a group message. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, just thought I'd tell you anyway. Also, just so you know, when I said it to you, I meant it then. The sex thing, what I said to Andy. I know you'll be thinking, you said that to me, and I did, and I meant it then. Just so you know, then I meant it. And now, probably, because I know you said the same about me to me, it always made me feel really good hearing you say it. I mean, I know it. I know I'm good at it. Plenty of people have said it to me. Well, not plenty, but enough people have said it to me for me to know. But it's not just a couple of people. It's an amount that makes you think it's not just a fluke. It's not just people who've had really bad sex and I'm above average. It's what do they call it in surveys? Statistically significant. It's a statistically significant sample size. So I know I'm good at it. The statistics back that up. But I know you said it then, and I hope you say it now too. No, obviously, who knows what things are like with Connor? He looks like he's, he looks like he's fit. He looks like he's handsome. He does he work out? Because he looks like he does. So things change, tastes change, things move on, and memories are just can't compare. Like I said, in the moment versus in the past versus who knows what happens in the future. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Apples and sex. Look, I'll let you go now. Suffice to say, back then, you were the best sex I had ever had. But I think, yeah, on reflection, saying it to Andy, yeah, that was probably right then. Anyway, in that moment, it was probably correct. Anyway, shit, sorry for going on for so long. Next time we'll do a proper catch up, and yeah, I'll let you know how the whole mandolin thing goes, how that whole caper turns out. Who knows? Maybe I'll be good at it. Given how bad I was with your ukulele, it's probably not much hope. Seeing him again next week. Yeah, he's cooking, so maybe I'll pretend I forgot to bring it or something. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, look, I've got to go to the gym, and you've got to go to something, I'm sure. Thanks. Yeah, you too. It was yeah, I'll tell you said hi. Yeah. Yeah, bye. Bye. Speak soon. Bye. Yeah, hey Dad? Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah. No, he's not here at the moment. No, he's out and about. He's got a gig tonight. Yeah. Sorry. No, wait. Sorry, before you tell me all about that, I need to look, can I tell you something? So yeah, basically.
Ooh, rounds of applause. And James is back. I'll wait till he gets his microphone back on. Excellent work, mate.
There we go. Fuck.
How was that?
That was fun. That was really fun.
Well done, mate. That was yeah. That's a long stint to do all on your own, and judging by the chat's reaction, they were very impressed with you. Some of them are watching a few minutes behind because they all stopped to applaud.
Yeah,
which is their right. So hopefully they'll ooh in their own good time. I did notice someone was asking. Some people are scattering claps in advance. Adam Lannon says, "Awesome, James," and yeah, lots of applauses and things like that. Someone was asking whether the stopping for applause was scripted.
No. Kyle today, the director, when we talked about today, we were like, oh yeah, that's a thing. So just when I heard it, people were banging pots,
yeah,
just over there. So I had to stop and acknowledge it.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, we said just beforehand, if you can hear it, then definitely do something about it.
Thankfully, working with Secret Cinema prepares you for interruptions and dealing with them. So
it does indeed. Yeah, anyone who's watching who may have been to Secret Cinema's recent production of Stranger Things in London will have seen James playing Will Byers in that. What was that like? Had you done much immersive theatre beforehand?
No, not at all. That was my first immersive experience, and it was terrifying. Because improv is the way improv has always been set up at drama school in classes is always very daunting because everyone sits down really quietly and watches you create a story with someone, and that's terrifying. But with Secret Cinema, it's complicated because you've got a scripted scene and you've got to try and include the audience to try and prompt them to offer solutions to your problems.
Yeah.
And kind of work their input into the script. But then again, at the end of the day, you're simply just talking to people. You're just talking.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, oh, it's actually easy as breathing.
Yeah. And the other thing is you're often told with improv that the whole premise of improv is yes and, that you'll offer something and the other person will agree with that and offer you the next building block. And with members of the public, that is not always the case.
You just go up and ask them a question, offer them something, they just go, no.
No, yeah, very often they're not interested in playing that game with you. More people still oohing and stuff like that. If anyone has any questions they want to ask James, do feel free. I was going to ask, and I said this on Twitter earlier on, a lot of drama school students who are meant to be having showcases and final shows in the UK, all of those have been cancelled at the moment. So casting directors are running great things where people can send them their show reels or get in touch with stuff. But
Holland.
Yeah, exactly. Sophie Holland is one of those, exactly. And I was saying to James beforehand, I might ask him a couple of questions about his experience of being a relatively recent graduate. You're sort of 2 and a bit years out of drama school now, aren't you?
3 now.
3 years now. So maybe you'll have picked up some things in those early years that certainly me, having 10 years out of drama school, can't quite remember.
Wow.
I know. It's all the monkey glands.
Moisturizer.
You trained at Manchester School of Theatre? That's right.
Yes, I did.
Is there anything that you learned at drama school? Hopefully, there's lots of things, but there's anything particularly you learned at drama school that you find really useful? Because I think for me, when I was at drama school, it was a case of absorbing everything, and then I sort of go. You don't really have too much time to say this works or this doesn't work for me. You sort of have to go with everything, and then at the end, you figure out what little bits work for you and what bits don't.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you have held on to as you've gone out into the real world?
Oh God. Kind of the opposite. Like everything, like during drama school, you're taking on so many things, and you feel like, okay, I learned that technique for this one workshop last year. I have to use that. You feel like you have to utilize everything that you've been taught in your process. But really, like the second you get out there, it's all about like, and just diving headfirst and just seeing the things that you know work for you.
Yeah.
But then also keeping stuff that didn't work at the back of your head, because you never know, if you come across a character that you find quite tough, you can always jump back to that. But the main thing I learned is whatever happened at drama school means nothing in the real world or industry. It literally means nothing. Because I don't know, just like in drama school, there's like hierarchy. There's so many it's like you kind of quickly figure out who you work with, who you don't really gel with, and you're stuck with those people. You're stuck with those people for 3 years, but you're constantly meeting new people, working with new people. So every new job is like a little dance.
Yeah.
Getting to new people.
Yeah. And once you're out there, you're a professional, and that it doesn't, like you say, it doesn't matter what grade you got in your lab and whatever.
Oh, Jesus.
Someone has just said, hang on, Scatterbrain UK says, James, you're so great, and if you don't get the lead of a sassy gay man in theatre or TV, there's no justice. And Michael Ritchie, very well, yes, very true. And Michael Ritchie asked me if this is based on a true story, if I ever convinced a date I could play an instrument I couldn't. That is definitely not something I could ever convince a date. It's not based on a true story. In fact, the first bit of it, down to can you teach me how to play the mandolin, was a piece I wrote for a writing exercise that I was leading a workshop with Sycorax Theatre Collective. Kim is watching. And I was just doing an exercise where if writers want to try this, you start a monologue with just a random phrase or saying. In this case, it was Captain Corelli's mandolin, and then you write for 5 minutes and see what comes out at the end of it. And
I think you wrote for longer than 5 minutes.
Then I built on it for the rest of it. Yes. Judy Harris has asked, James, did you do the other half of the conversation in your head?
Yeah, we so I've got the script on my screen because I got the script how many days ago?
Sunday night, so 4 days.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
So there's points where I just written in big red bold letters what I think the X is saying. Me and Kyle, we devised that together as well. So yeah. And Scatterbrain UK has just said is watching a little bit behind and has just caught up with the bit that you've slept with the guy you're talking to, but has also said they would watch a series, TV or web, of this character talking to the camera about his exploits every week. Fab. Improv YouTube series. Let's do it.
Hey, you're just doing me out of a job. What about my screenwriter credit for the rest of the series?
Russell T Davis, are you watching?
I was going to ask you, this is a thing that I think a lot of people have expectations coming out of drama school. How much have you worked versus not working? Because I find you see someone might, a graduate, a recent graduate or soon to be graduate, will tune in and watch this and see you doing this and go, oh, James is doing this job, therefore James works all the time.
Oh, no. God,
Yeah.
no. The first year out was the hardest. That was really tough. Well, drama school is such a bubble. And by the way, third years who are watching right now, I'm so sorry. This whole crisis has like ruined your showcase and probably your final year shows as well, because that would have broken my heart. That really would have.
Because it's all built up to that.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, when I left, drama school is such a bubble, and you feel really secure in it. You got your routine, you got your timetable, and every day you're going to have this class, and then suddenly it goes. And for like a few weeks after graduated, I was like technically temporarily homeless. I felt quite abandoned because so many friends had organized that they're going to live together, they're going to move together, and I was on my own. I had no one, so I was just luckily a friend who was on the course with me offered a spare room in theirs, so I had a roof over my head. But there was this dark period where I was just struggling to find my 2 feet. Luckily, I had been signed by an agent. So it was just a matter of just waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
But eventually I got a small part in a tiny theatre above the Stag Theatre.
Yeah.
Before they got their shiny new venue, it was like a literal dive.
Yeah.
Like a bunker. A small theatre, and I decided, right, that's it, I'm moving to London. So I crashed with friends, I went on spare room, I did loads of flat hunting, saw loads of utter like shoe boxes, but eventually found a room somewhere for really, really cheap and just did it. But then period of not working and just working in a bar in Soho, got a film job, which was amazing. It was literally like a dream come true. But then after that finished, I didn't work for about 9 months.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People always think, oh, this one job is going to come on, it'll change everything. And then, but it's in such fits and starts.
Yeah. I didn't work for like 9 months. I was working full time in a fancy cocktail bar that was also a family restaurant, that was also a theatre bar. So we were so busy all the time.
So many different demographics of clientele.
Oh my God, I'd be making like little kid smoothies, but then I'll make a Bloody Mary that has over 10 ingredients. 10! So that was hard. But then every job, keeping in contact with the people that you've worked with can lead on to other things.
Yeah.
So above the Stag Theatre, they called me back for another play. I managed to get into Secret Cinema, and which was the best acting job I've ever had. It was such a joy to do. But the family that we had in that cast, we were a cast of 47.
Yeah.
Big. And the bonds that we had and experiences that we shared have just meant that we're constantly keeping up with each other. We did a little two-hander for a charity event, and we're just constantly prompting each other to keep creative and to keep, our minds active.
I think that's the big thing, that when work gets a bit fallow, is to try and still keep active and created and connected in the community, because that's partly why I'm doing this, because things are so quiet and so dead, and you can begin to feel really disconnected and isolated from it all. And actually, the really nice thing for in starting this is people reaching out and say, how can I get involved, and pairing up people. Like, we didn't know each other. I followed you on Twitter, but I don't think we'd ever probably interacted. But it was just
we've never met.
Yeah, we've not met. Yeah, and you still haven't met Kyle. In fact, Mikey's just asked in the chat, what was it like being directed over WhatsApp?
You know what? It was fab. It was really nice because I have a really short attention span. I was like in my space. It was grand. It was absolutely grand.
Yeah, that's good. And Lindsay Seeger, who I think is Kyle's wife, has asked, did you work out specially for the role?
You know what? I did work out today.
Just because you knew you'd be wearing like a plunge neckline.
Also, that is another thing that was great about Secret Cinema. A wonderful actor who is a wonderful human being, who's also a personal trainer. He ran free fit classes for us. So I was keeping fit during that job, and we've been doing that over video call.
Oh, amazing!
Like since we finished the job.
There's been really, obviously it's a very testing time, but it's been great to see how inventive people have been at keeping in touch, and actually some people are keeping in touch more regularly than maybe they would have, because we're sort of forced into this online way of connecting with each other. Yeah.
Along the way, whatever job you do.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it there because I was aiming to sort of finish about 8:30, and we're there or thereabouts on an hour. Amazing work as ever. I'm just going to check, see if anything else is coming up. Oh, Mikey asked me, is this my first time writing a monologue, and how is it writing? How is it compared to writing for more people versus writing for one person? I think it's the first monologue play I've written, sort of, because it's about half an hour long, rather than a monologue in a longer piece. It's great because the other characters interrupt less. You can get into a flow. You can get into a flow a little bit. I've once finding this one character's voice and being able to keep that voice, and obviously the nature of this piece means it's a little bit disconnected anyway. So it doesn't matter if he loses his thread or I lose my thread a little bit, because it kind of suits the thing of it. But also it gives you one singular drive, which we talked about before while we were discussing the play, which is how frustrated he is, and how the conversation is about a date he's been on, but it's really about the guy he's talking to.
Just for the record, the moments where it looks like I may have stumbled, they're actually written.
Yes, he is acting. Yeah.
It is written like a rambling mess, just so you know.
Yes, yeah, I'm so very sorry about that. Scatterbrain UK says, you were great in Secret Cinema, James, but you showed how great you really are. Hoping we see more of you either on stage, TV, or film. Last time I'm going to say this stream is, again, if you enjoyed watching that performance, you want to support James and myself and Kyle and all the other artists who contribute to National eTheatr, you can do so by going to the links below this video, paypal.me/National eTheatr, or Coffee, that's ko-fi.com/National eTheatr, and you can donate as little or as much as you like. The suggested donation is £3 on Coffee, but obviously feel free to give more if you can. If you can't, we hope you enjoyed it, and maybe spread it around to others to enjoy as well, because it looks like we won't have any live theatre for a little while still to come. The last thing to say is the next stream on this channel is tomorrow evening. It's a piece called Trixie, written by Camilla Whitehill. This is the second outing for this script. The previous outing, it was performed by Nicola Coughlan off of Derry Girls, so that's pretty cool. This time it's been performed by Eleanor Peregrine. Now, Eleanor is meant to be graduating from LAMDA very shortly. Her final shows are obviously on hold, so it's really cool to get in a young graduate who isn't getting a chance to show off live in person to casting directors and producers and stuff. She's going to be performing the piece, and it's directed by Nikki Allpress, who's a staff director at the National Theatre. And so they're going to be a dream team. That's at 7:30 again, UK time, on this channel. Thank you again, James. One last round of O's in the chat for James. That was pretty impressive to do like you said, in 4 days. And thank you everybody who's tuned in and watched. And we hope we see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
For the NHS.
Yes.